Lowrance just dropped their new trolling motor, the Ghost X, and I'm going to show you why X marks the spot. Hey, it's Lauren from Radioworld here, and we are an authorized Lowrance dealer in Toronto, Ontario, and I've got the new Ghost X on this Bass Cat, so we're gonna test it out today. Ghost X is Lowrance's next generation of trolling motor for the bass boat market. Okay, so let's dive into the changes on Ghost X a little bit more. First, the biggest one is the directional indicator on there. The old one, you could spin it around and sometimes it would go back to where it started, other times it wouldn't, but there was a lot of free play, like probably a quarter to half turn of free play in that system. So that is gone. It's a direct drive 1-to-1 ratio now. So where your foot of your trolling motor is pointed, so your active target transducer, live scope transducer, whatever you're using on there, that arrow is going to be lined up perfectly with it. They've also added some white accent marks for daytime use, LED lighting for nighttime use, and then it's raised up a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. I don't know if you can see this with the light we have today, but when you press the momentary on-off button on the foot pedal or the unit's in spot lock and the prop turns on or off, you're able to see that by the LED indicator in the directional arrow. So that is the huge improvement on Ghost X. But if you already have an existing Ghost, that is backwards compatible. You can check the video description for a part number where you're able to order that upgrade kit for your existing Ghost. Lowrance has also changed the lower unit on the trolling motor. So it's 20% more powerful according to them. It's quieter and more efficient. And then also the big upgrade is the rear hub, which we will test out in this video to see if it is much more weedless than the original Ghost. Lowrance also has their new compact remote coming out, which has more functions that were available on the current Ghost remote, and that will be compatible with the Ghost X. So when a company comes out to revise a trolling motor that's already been out on the market, you always kind of wonder what it is that you lost. Well, in this case, I can say all the features that people love about the Ghost are still here. We've got all the buttons on the foot pedal. We've got selectable voltage. We can run it on a 24 or 36 volt system. So that hasn't changed at all. The Real Feel pedal, by far, Lowrance has the best pedal on the market today. I love the feel of this thing. It's super easy to transition to if you're coming from a traditional cable steer motor. This thing is just incredible, to say the least. And this motor here, there's no lag. Like it feels as if I'm connected with a cable right now as we're turning. So really good job on Lowrance for that one. They've always had a good product that way. The mount system is pretty well the same. They really haven't changed anything down there. The big change is that directional indicator and then the lower hub, which we'll test out in the weeds and see how that goes. So I guess the big question is, if you already have a Ghost, should you upgrade to the Ghost X? And while the changes are pretty minimal for the most part, outside of that directional indicator, which you are able to get for your existing motor, you know, I don't know if it's really worth it to upgrade. Now, if you're looking for a new system and you're running Lowrance electronics on your boat, well then yeah, the answer is for sure, that's the motor to get. It's the latest technology, and you should be getting the Ghost X as long as the shaft size works for you. So who is the Ghost X for? Well, it's for a customer with a bass boat. It's a bass boat only trolling motor for the most part, and limited just because of the size of the shaft a bit at 47 inches. That's going to be the most common that people are putting on bass boats. However, when you get up into the north like we are in here, the 52 inch is the most common. So it would be nice to have a 52 or 60 inch shaft in a Ghost X, but that's where Lowrance is probably going to recommend the Recon motor, and typically those are going to be more on deep feed boats. Ghost X will network with all the current Lowrance products. If you have HDS Pro, HDS Live, Elite FS, and even HDS Carbon, I believe will be networkable through NMEA 2000, so you're able to control your Ghost X right from your chart plotter. Another thing you'll find with Ghost X is it's going to come with the HDI transducer pre-installed, and then also with the 3-in-1 active imaging transducer, which you can install if you wanted to add that for Ghost 360 or just to have side scan sonar on the bow of the boat. Nice fish right there. That's awesome. Right in the heart of that cover where he should be. Nice little largemouth like that. There is the first fish in Canada caught with the help of the new Lowrance Ghost X. All right, we'll let this guy go. This motor is super maneuverable in the shallows. Obviously that's important. You want a nice quiet motor when you're fishing up tight to the cover like this. And you want to be able to get around efficiently and not have to fight with the trolling motor. And the Ghost X, you definitely don't. It's a super easy to control trolling motor. Primary reason for that is just because of the foot pedal. It's an incredible pedal. So up in the shallow heavy cover, like we're fishing here down this bank with some trees, and I got a lot of lily pads and kind of like that spaghetti grass. This motor is great. Like, it comes through the stuff fairly well. That new hub design definitely makes a difference in my opinion, because I haven't really been getting caught up on anything. Haven't had to pull the trolling motor out of the water yet. So we've got some pretty thick lily pads here, some grass on the surface, and we'll go through this and see what the Ghost X can do. A little around the shaft, but nothing on the prop right now. There's some thick weed here. I'm gonna go through that. This stuff usually chokes up your trolling motor pretty bad. And also, I've got the shaft all the way down. You know, you could raise it up. That would probably help a little bit. But I would have to say that this is definitely quite a bit better than the original one. So what's missing on the Ghost X? Well, there's a couple things that I'm kind of surprised Lowrance didn't include on it, especially when you're comparing it to the Recon, which came out about a year ago now. And a couple things that they've added with the Recon. First, they had that free steer joystick remote. Well, that's not going to be compatible. The wireless foot pedal isn't compatible, which isn't a big deal because obviously the Ghost has its wired pedal, so that makes sense. But there's that little add-on dock that you can put on the back of the wireless foot pedal for the Recon. That's not compatible either. The other thing with Recon is they added the ability to get diagnostic codes from it. There's not that on the Ghost. So there's a few things like that that they didn't include on the Ghost X, which makes me feel like it's more of a Ghost 1.5 than a Ghost 2.0. But I think the biggest thing that's missing from the Ghost X is the ability to reverse the prop. Some of the newer motors that are coming out today have that ability, whether it's through the remote control or through a dedicated reverse button. And that feature is huge. I've had the chance to use some of these motors recently, and when you're spot locked, especially on a calm day, it actually makes the motor move much less, giving you a much quieter presentation. So that's one thing I really wish we had on the Ghost X, but unfortunately at this point, it's not available. Maybe that's something Lowrance is saving for Ghost 2.0. At the start of the video, I said, I'll show you why X marks the spot. And for a forward-facing Sonar user who has their transducer attached to the Ghost X, that is why Ghost X marks the spot. It is dead on when you're throwing to a target you've seen on your forward-facing Sonar. If you use any of the forward-facing Sonars attached to your trolling motor, the Ghost X is definitely a motor to look at. First off, it's extremely smooth to use. So the feel you have of the pedal, it's just so smooth when you're using that thing. It just feels so natural using it. It will position your transducer perfectly every single time. The adjustments are very, very fine. It doesn't feel electronic like some of the other motors do. There's no jittery feeling at all, anything like that. It's just a smooth motor. I've been using the forward-facing Sonar a lot today, and every time I would cast to a fish, it would be right on target. All I had to do was look down at that arrow, see where it was pointed, make my cast in that line, and I would land right on that fish. So I've been going down this weed edge here with the forward-facing Sonar, and I'll tell you, that arrow is dead on. Like, it is absolutely dead on. I definitely am staying on the edge, no problem. When I'm casting in the direction my arrow is pointing, it's dead on. I see it on the screen instantly. Like, they have definitely done a good job with that. So that is a huge improvement. And I would definitely recommend, if you're an existing Ghost customer, that's definitely an upgrade you need to make to your Ghost. All right, we got a marker buoy right up here, so we're gonna go try the spot lock. Pulled up to this marker buoy here, so we are gonna give the spot lock on the Ghost X a try, see how well it'll hold us. All right, here we go. All right, we've got that anchor mode going now for probably 2-3 minutes. And yeah, we've been just sitting right within about 5 feet of the spot that we locked on. So I would say it's pretty good. I definitely, thought the Ghost was good. I didn't really see a huge need for improvement there, but this is definitely keeping us within about 5 feet of where we were. It did have to correct a little bit here and there, but nothing major, nothing that you couldn't deal with, that's for sure. And the motor is extremely quiet. So that's definitely a big plus as well when you want to sneak up on those fish. All right, I came to the back deck of the boat just to enjoy a nice coffee here. But in addition to that, I also wanted to see if the prop starts coming out of the water, which it is on, I would say, just about every wave. I can hear it. I don't know if you guys can, just to see how the Ghost X could keep up. And so far it's doing its thing, still holding us within the position there. So definitely the spot lock on this is excellent. So there you go. That's my take on the Ghost X from Lowrance. Hopefully you got some information from this video, and hopefully this video will help you decide if you're going to upgrade your whole trolling motor, maybe just purchase one of these, or just get that new directional indicator for your existing Ghost. I want to give a huge shout out to Jamie over at Pro Advantage for letting us take his bass cat out for today and put the Ghost X on it. So thanks a lot to him. He's in the Belleville area. If you're looking for Lowrance electronics, he is an authorized reseller, and all kinds of tackle in his shop as well, right up to the ceilings. It's loaded, so it is the place to check out if you're in the Belleville, Bay of Quinte area. And as always, you can check out all the Lowrance products on our website, radioworld.ca. If you're in Canada, there's links in the description where you can purchase these products as well.